Thank you for the excellent introduction of my talk and myself. Vanakkam, namaskar to all. I express my heartfelt thanks to the management and also the faculties working in Sangam Talks for giving me an excellent opportunity to highlight when the Kali Yuga began and what is the importance and what we meant by Kali Yuga and what are all the evidence for Kali Yuga beginning, both literature and also inscriptional evidence. I once again say my namaskar and humble pranams to one and all and the senior most persons and excellent personalities and my colleagues who are listening this lecture. In this lecture, I am going to narrate about the evidence for the Kali Yuga beginning. And that is in what year the Kali Yuga began. Mainly focus on the inscriptional evidence, that is epigraphical evidence, stone and copper plate inscriptions. It will be a description of 607 inscriptions that were dated in Kali Yuga years. In this part 1, as the topic already introduced, I will going to narrate about what do you mean by Kali Yuga, what is its importance, and what are all the evidence, inscriptional evidence for Kali Yuga, and literature evidence, and what is mean by interconnectivity between the various dynasties of Bharat as shown through inscriptions. I have already been excellently introduced. I need not repeat. These are all my contact numbers and my mail ID and my website. This first topic will be in this. Second topic will be the details of inscriptions that were dated in Kali Yuga that were issued before 300 Common Era. And analysis and conclusion inference will be the second part. And first of all, we have to understand what we mean by Kali Yuga. Our nation's chronology is often counted from the age of Brahma. So, Brahma's age is 100 years and his day is 864 crore years. 1 day for Brahma. And 360 days for 1 year for him, and he lived up to 100 years. You can calculate. So our nation's chronology starts from the age of Brahma. And Kali Yuga, the number of years elapsed in Kali Yuga are mentioned every day in some of the families as by reciting Sankalpa Mantra. Or many people throughout our nation, they recite the Sankalpa Mantra on auspicious days, either Bhumi Puja or Graha Pravesham or Kumbhabhishekam, on in marriage ceremony and other ceremonies, they will recite this Sankalpa Mantra. And it is even today, from time immemorial, it is practiced throughout our nation. Some families daily basis, some families on auspicious days. What is that mantra? What it mentions? Adya Brahmana Tidiya Pararde Svedavaraha Kalpe Vaivasvada Manvandre Ashtavimsadi Tame Kaliyuge Pratame Bhage Jambudvebe Bharata Varshe Bharata Kande Meroho Dakshina Parsve Sri Ramachetra. That is Adya Brahmana, the present Brahma. In his lifetime, Tidiya Pararde, that is 100 years, 50 years has been completed on the 51st year, on the first day we are living. And the each Brahma half a day is one kalpa, that is 432 crore years. So we are living in the Sveda Varaha kalpa, and each kalpa has 14 manvantara. The present is 7th manvantara, that is Vaivasvada manvantara. Each manvantara has 30 crores, 84 lakhs and 48,000 years. Each manvantara has 71 Mahayuga and a Sandhi period. So we are living in the 28th Mahayuga. Each Mahayuga has a number of years of 43 lakhs 20,000 years. So we are 27 Mahayuga completed and it is 28th Mahayuga. In that each Mahayuga has 4 yuga. That is Krita or Satya Yuga, that is 17 lakhs 28,000 years. And Treta Yuga, in which Sri Rama is born, it is 12 lakhs 96,000. And Dwapara Yuga, at the end of that, Bhagavan Sri Krishna born, that is about 8 8,64,000 years, and the Kali Yuga, present Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. In that Pradame Bhaga, in the earlier part we are living, and this is time. What is the space where we are living? If we say just time only, it will not be complete. You have to define space where your location is there. It is Jambudvipe, Bharatavarshe, in the nation Bharat, Bharatakande, Meroho Dakshina Parshve, that is southern to the Meru, that mountain. And in Tamil Nadu is known as Sri Ramachetra. Kerala is known as Parashuramachetra. Each area has its own name, either Avatara name or Rishi name, like that. Tamil Nadu is Sri Ramachetra. So we are clearly mentioning the time and space. On what day and what place we are doing this Sankalpa Mantra. We are doing this auspicious puja. That is the thing. So in this, it clearly explains what do you mean by Kali Yuga. So the present Kali Yuga is in the Sweda Varaha Kalpa, Vaivasvata Manvantara, 28th Mahayuga. After Satya, Treta, Dwapara Yuga have gone, we are living in the earlier part of Kali Yuga. That is defined as Kali Yuga. It is not only in Sankalpa Mantra. There is an inscription in Tamil Nadu, in Tirupur district in Dharapuram, in Uttama Veeraraghava Perumal, that is Vishnu temple. There is an inscription, it clearly mentions Varaha Kalpe, Vaivasvata Manvantare, 27 Mahayuga have gone, 28th Yuga. It is after Krita, Treta, Dwapara Yuga gone. We are living in Kali Yuga, and Kali Yuga this much years has gone. That inscription I will show in the next session is there. So it is clearly mentioned that what do you mean by Kali Yuga, and it is known to everybody in our nation. So this is Kali Yuga. And why Kali Yuga is important? Because our nation's history and chronology, though it is counted from Brahma, for the easy thing, we are calculating it from the beginning of Kali Yuga. Because we cannot memorize 864 crore into 360 into 100 years. That is difficult. So we are just limiting ourselves to Kali Yuga beginning. What are all the evidence? For first example is Bhavishya Purana. Bhavishya is future, which Purana describes the future historical events. In that it mentioned that the king Pramara of Agnivamsha of Samaveta, his name is Pramara. He started his dynasty, Pramara dynasty at Ujjain in the 2710th year of Kali Yuga. So he mentioned it only in Kali Yuga year. In the same way, in the same Bhavishya Purana mentions that the king Vikramaditya of this Pramara dynasty, who ruled whole nation from Ujjain, who started his era in the 57 BCE, he born in the 3000th year of Kali Yuga. So all events, historical events, either later or before, they calculated based on the Kali Yuga beginning year. So it is the sheet anchor of our nation's chronology from earlier time till now. So that is why it become important. And Jyotir Vidhabaranam, an astrology text written by Kalidasa, it mentioned in Raja Adhyaya that Yudhishthira, after Yudhishthira, 3044 years is the Vikramaditya, and 3179 years is the Salivagana. It further mentions that he started writing this text in the 3068th year of Kali Yuga. So he mentions that King Vikramaditya in his court, astronomer Varahimira and many scholars, that is Kalidasa, were there. So based on this, King Vikramaditya has already proved that Vikramaditya born in 3000th year of Kali Yuga, and Jyotir Vidhabaranam wrote in 3068th year. So Vikramaditya and Kalidasa and Varahimira were contemporary. Based on this Jyotir Vidhabaranam, we can understand. And further, I already told that in Raja Adhyaya, in this sloka, the 10th Adhyaya, 3044 years after King Yudhishthira, the King Vikramaditya, he started his Vikrama Samvat at 57 BCE. And 135 years after King Vikramaditya's era, Salivagana start would he mentioned in future tense would start in his Salivagana saga. He even mentioned future kings like Vijaya, Bidnandana, Nagarjuna, and Bali who came lakhs of years after present day. So, in the year 3044 of Kali Yuga, Vikrama Samvat began, and in the year 3179 year, Salivagana saga began. So, Kali beginning became the seat anchor of calculating all the later events. And the Viruddha Garga, a famous astronomer, astrologer, and rishi of our ancient India, he mentioned that Sapta Rishi was at Magha Nakshatra at Dwapara Kali Yuga junction. That is Dwapara Kali Sandautu Siddhaste Pitru Daivata Munayo. That is the sentence. And explaining this, Varagi Mira clearly mentioned in his text Brihat Samhita that Saptarishi were at Mahanakshatra when Yudhishthira was the king. So he mentioned at Dwapara Kali Yuga junction, the Saptarishi were at Mahanakshatra. He mentioning that when Yudhishthira was king, it is at Mahanakshatra. Asan Mahasu Munayo. Sasati Prithvim Yudhisthiro Nirupato. Nirupato means he is the king. So both are in time, as per time, one and the same. So Yudhishthira lived and ruled India at the Kali Dwapara junction. So that we can infer from this. So in this way, Kali Yuga beginning is important. And Vadeshwara Siddhanta, Shishyadi Viridhita Tandra of Lalacharya, Maha and Lakhu Bhaskariyam Bhaskara, all astronomical texts and mathematical texts clearly mentioned in this sloka, in this adhyaya, that in Kali Yuga 3179, Salivagana will start his era. That is at 78 Common Era. So in that way also, Kali Yuga beginning became the seat anchor. And most important thing is Siddhanta Shiromani, written by Bhaskaracharya, a famous astronomer of our nation. He mentioned that this second Nirupa era, another era, will come to an end in the 3179 years of Kali Yuga, at which Salivagana saga began. So definitely Salivagana saga and second Nirupa era are different because it come to an end at a year at which Salivagana saga began. And Varagi Migara further mentioned that 2526 years after Yudhishthira, the era of the Saka king began. So this is the beginning, this is the end point of this Saka Nirupa era. Nirupa means king, or Bhupa means king. Saka means Saka people, that is the Scythians, we can say, or Chatraps. So the era has been started by the king of that Scythians or Chatraps or Saka people. You see, if you read the history and chronology of Iran, that Cyrus II was the king of this Parasaka. Yeah, he is from Saka, one of the Saka, and that is Parasaka. That is somewhat superior to other Saka. So they settled in Parasaka, that became Parasika, then Persia, then Iran. So he, in the year 550 BCE, he defeated the Median Empire and he started his dynasty, his empire in Iran. So that is the commencement of this second era. So if you say that 2551 years after 3100 BCE, this second era began. How we calculate this? Because Varagimira mentioned 2526 years after Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira went to heaven 25th year of Kali Yuga. He relinquished his kingdom in the beginning of Kali Yuga and lived in Vanavasa for 25 years. And the year 3076 he went to heaven. So from Kali Yuga, the Cyrus II began in 2551. That is 550 BCE. If we add, it will come 3100 BCE. So in that way also, Kali Yuga beginning understanding is important. And the most important thing is date of Adi Shankara. There are a lot of confusion in it, but if you analyze the text, it will be very easy. His year of birth is given in a text, ancient, very ancient text called Prachina. Prachina means very ancient, Sankara Vijaya, in Buddha Sankhya. That is in Kali Yuga, Tishye, Anala, Sevadi, Bana, Netra. Anala is three Agni. Anala is Agni. There are three Agni. Akamniyam, Dakshinagni, Kargapatyam. And Sevati, that is Navanidhi. So it is 9. Bana is 5. Bana, 5. Sara of Manmata. And Netra is 2. So 2593 Kali Yuga, he born. That is Tishye means Kali Yuga. Other name for Kali Yuga is Tishye. Prayatya Anala Sevadi Bana Netra Sankareti. That is the sloka. So Adi Sankara born in 2593. Why? We have to Angana Vamato Gadi. That is, we got to repeat the number. Ulta. We got to make it Ulta. So 2593 Kali Yuga is the birth year of Adi Sankara. And when he attained Siddhi, that is given in Punya Shloka Manchari in Kadapa Adi Sankhya. That is Sarasarabde. Sarasarabde means 2625. If you repeat, Sa is 5, Ra is 2, Cha. Like that, the number letters will denote number. This is an ancient system of writing numbers in palm leaf. So in Kalir, Sarasarabde Apicha Kalir. In Kali, 2526, 2625 year he attained Mukti. At Pale, Pale means 32 year, at the age of 32. It is all given in Devatin Kural, 5th volume. It is a holy talk by Jagatguru Punyasri Chandrasekhar Swamikal, Kanji Swamikal, the Mahapariyava. And the date of Mahabharata, I have narrated what are all the events, historical events that can be dated correctly if you take Kali Yuga beginning as the seed tanker and if you know when Kali Yuga began. Ancient events, that is before event, that is Mahabharata. That also we can fix using Kali Yuga beginning. Mahabharata text of Veda Vyasa mentioned that the war was fought at the end of Dwapara Yuga and there were just 36 plus years. We know Gandhari's curse, that is 36 years curse. So that is definitely 36 years, minimum of 36 years. But in the Mausala Parva, in this Adhyaya, in this Loka, it mentioned the word Kasyachit Tvadakalasya. That is sometimes after 36 years. And Sri Krishna asked Yadava to go for pilgrimage in seashore holy places and to stay at Prabhasa Patana for some time. So it is definitely 36 plus years. So that is 3 to 4 decades before Kali Yuga. So in that way also we can definitely know when Mahabharata is happened. These are all the sloka on which this 36 plus years gap between Mahabharata war to Kali Yuga beginning is clearly mentioned. In these all 9 parva, this is the Adhyaya number, sloka number. So based on this Kali Yuga as a sea tanker, we can derive the exact date, year of future historical events and also past historical events. So that is the definite thing of sea tanker of our historical nation. And the most important thing is when Kali Yuga began, all these Brahmanda Purana, Brahma Purana and Matsya Purana, Vayu Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam and Vishnu Purana, these are all the Adhyaya number and also Sloka number. They clearly mentioned, including Kali Yuga Raja Vriddhanta, that on the day, exactly it mentions day, on the day when Sri Krishna left the earth to Vaikunta, the Kali Purusha entered the earth. That is Kali Yuga began. So in that way also it is important. We can correctly point it out when Sri Krishna left the world, and Bhavishwatra Purana and Bhagavatam mentioned that he lived 125 years. So that is Krishna birth also, year of birth also we can calculate if you know Kali Yuga beginning. So definitely Mahabharata date and especially Kali Yuga beginning epoch is a twin sweet anchor in the history and chronology of our nation. That's why if we know when Kali Yuga began, we can rewrite our nation's history in a correct and proper and precise manner. In that way, it is important. Then, what are all the evidence? Now we have to search for evidence. We have to fix the date of Kali Yuga, no. So for that we need evidence. Without evidence, we cannot fix. So already I explained all the literary evidence and traditional evidence, Sankalpa Mantra. But we need epigraphic evidence. Why epigraphic evidence? Because epigraphic, that inscriptions, either it is on stone or copper plate, it's an important thing. Suppose if a stone inscription is inscribed on the wall of a temple, nothing false can be inscribed because people are watching. Every day they can go to the temple and they can read the inscription. It is obvious. It is distinct. It is explicit. It is conspicuous. It is visible. It is open. So nobody can write or inscribe a wrong date on that. Definitely, they can write only the truth. So nothing can be wrong in that date because people are watching. Every day they are going to the temple. It is an open public place. It is there. Anybody from the town or the city or village can go, or any pilgrimage can visit and identify whether it is true or not. So, and further, in those days, our kings don't write lies. They will definitely follow the dharma. And even then, the people are watching. So, nothing can be written wrongly. That is one thing. And nobody can alter it in the future. Because if they alter, it will be obviously visible on the stone. So that cannot be, because people are also, after 100 years also, they are watching. Nobody can alter. And we need not have any scientific analysis or experiments or technological skills or using equipments to know the date. It is obvious that date is mentioned. Even a person with basic knowledge in the language in which that inscription is inscribed can identify, can read the inscription. So no need. It is conspicuous, distinct and explicit, visible, and it is open. No need for any other experiment or analysis, nothing. It is a clear cut. So in that way also it is very much easy. So in that way, nobody can write wrong things because the public is watching, and it is very simple and distinct. So anybody can identify. So and it is written on the stone. So it lasts for more years. If it is written on paper or palm leaf, it will last. So it is on stone. So that is an important thing of inscriptional evidence. So I thought we should find out the inscriptional evidence for Kali Yuga. Yep, though we are having literary evidence and traditional evidence, I specially concentrated on inscriptional evidence because of these facts. But what the scholars are thinking, they think, the epigraphists or archaeologists or historians, there are only 5 to 6 or at the maximum less than 10 inscriptions that were dated in Kali Yuga. That is, they are saying that is not sufficient. At least we need 50 or 100, minimum of 50 inscriptions, so that we can say definitely that Kali Yuga began in this year. So at least 50 to 100 inscriptions should be there to prove when Kali Yuga began. So that is the thing. And further, these scholars are strongly believe that there is no uniformity in time calculation in our nation. That is no uniform single era that is followed throughout our nation, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, Gujarat to Assam, nothing. Each region followed their own era. For example, Sriharsha era, Malava Ganasaka, Saka era, Vikrama Samvat, Salivagana Saka, Gupta era, Ganga era, Chalukya Vikram era, Kollam era, and Kochi date. Like that, many dates are there. Era are there. No uniform era throughout our nation. So this is their opinion. So I want to find out the truth. What is exact? So 2 years back, but often the scholars quote only Aihole inscription of the Pulikesi too. That is the only inscription they are saying that it is mentioned in Kali Yuga date. Many texts are obviously silent on this aspect. They will mention 1 or 2 inscriptions only. So I want to search epigraphic evidence. 2 years back or 2.5 years back, I read an article in internet that there is an inscription of Chola king Parandaka Chola Chakravarti. Chola kingdom, Chola dynasty is a dynasty of Tamil Nadu. It ruled the eastern part of Tamil Nadu, and Rajendra Chola is a great ruler, powerful ruler of that dynasty, who ruled not only Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and Orissa, Bengal, Burma, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, all the seashore lands of Bay of Bengal. So usually the people call Bay of Bengal as a Chola lake, because they can directly go to Indonesia in the middle of the sea. That is Alaikadal Naduvil Padakalam Sethi. That was the great warrior and powerful king of Chola kingdom. They ruled eastern part of Tamil Nadu. And this article mentioned that Chola king Parandaka Chola Chakravarti, great grandfather of Rajendra Chola, he issued an inscription that is dated in Kali Yuga 4045. It is an interesting thing. But when I inquired the author could not identify the place and he cannot give any further details. It is a disappointment to me. So I started read more than 50 books on Chola kingdom. And finally, in the book Early Chola Temples, written by Sri S.R. Balasubramanian sir, I wholeheartedly thank him. In that, this inscription is detailed and it is present in the Sri Sivalokanatha temple, that village itself called as Gramam near Viluppuram in Tamil Nadu state. So it is a great thing for me. So immediately I visited the temple and I worshipped Lord Ishvara and he helped me. I have found out that inscription. My joy and happiness have no bounds. So it is an excellent moment for me. Then I started searching for more inscriptions on Kali Yuga. I have visited many temples and other places and read more than 300 books on inscriptions. So God has finally blessed me wholeheartedly, and I have found out initially 436 inscriptions that were dated in Kali Yuga, including a foreign evidence from Thailand. And since many people asked me, your earliest inscription is Aikole, that is 556 Saka, that is 1350 years before only. Why don't you search for inscriptions that were dated before 500 Common Era, that is 1500 years? So that kindled me and they encouraged me. They made me to commit, and I have found out more inscriptions and many inscriptions that were dated before 300 Common Era. That also I have found out. Now the total inscription is 607 inscriptions. So I have written a book on Kali Yuga inscription evidence with these subtitles, and that is available now. Now I will detail each inscription, the important inscriptions. Mainly first Aihole inscription. It is in Karnataka state in the Megudi temple at Aihole village. It is a Sanskrit poem. The king is Pulikeshi II of Western Chalukya Badami. What it mentions, it is after Mahabharata war. It mentioned Mahabharata war. In the year 3735th year of Kali Yuga and 556th year of Saka era, this epigraph is inscribed. We know Salivagana Saka began in 78 Common Era. So 556th year of Saka era, 634 Common Era. And Kali 3735 is 634 Common Era. Hence, it definitely proves that Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. This is the inscription, photograph of that inscription. I thank ASI for using this photocopy. And this is a transliteration of that inscription. What it mentions, Trim Satsu Tri Sakasreshu Bharatat Ahavat Aditaha Sabdapta Sadayuktesu Gade Swabdesu Panchasu Panchasatsu Kalau Kale Shatshu Pancha Sadasu Sa Samasu Samatitasu Sakanamapi Bhubujam. That is the sloka dating, mentioning the date. Trim Satsu, that means 30. Tri Sagasresu 3000. Sabdapta Sadayuktesu 700. Panchasu is 5. Kalau Kale, that is in Kali Yuga. That is 3 Sagasresu 3735 year of Kali Yuga. when Bharata Ahava Tatitaha. That is Itaha means from that year. That is Bharata. From Bharatat, fifth Vibhakti. Ahava means Yuddha. Bharata Yuddha. From Bharata Yuddha. Some persons are mentioning as Bharata denotes some other thing. But Bharata always in India denote Mahabharata only. Sri Rama, Sri Krishna in India, it denotes only Sri Rama, Sri Krishna. Abraham Lincoln and George Washington in America denotes the famous and first presidents of America. If we say Abraham Lincoln, you can think only Abraham Lincoln, the famous president of USA, not a person who is a driver, working as a driver in Washington, D.C. So if you say George Washington in America, he denotes the first president of USA, not a tailor person who is doing this tailoring in California. So in that, Bharata means in India, it is only Mahabharata. And another thing is, Trimsatsu Trisahasresu cannot be meant as 30 into 3000. You see, this is Su is a Vibhakti, seventh Vibhakti. So without seventh Vibhakti or without the word Adhika or Uttara, definitely it means addition. You say 8 and 5 means 13. 8 fives mean 40. You can see that is the difference. So Trimsat Sahasra means 30 into 3000. But Trimsatsu Trisahasresu means 30 plus 3000. Some persons are taking, some scholar, Sabdapta Sadayuktesu means as a 107 or 100. It is not a correct meaning. So we have to understand little bit Sanskrit. Then only we can decipher the correct information from the inscriptions. And this inscription mentioned that Harsha, Sri Harsha we know, the king of northern Bharat, from Pushyabodhi dynasty of Sthaneswara, he was defeated by Pulikeshi II. Either in this Aihole inscription or Kendur plates and 11th regnal year grant and Gautam plates of Vikramaditya of Kirtivarma, that mentioned that Arshasiladitya was defeated by Pulikeshi II. So both are contemporary. And we know the regnal period, ruling period of Harsha of Sthaneswara. And Harsha is mentioned by Chinese traveler Huanshuang as his contemporary. He traveled in India from 630 to 645 Common Era as per Chinese chronology. You can refer CUK or Huanshuang's writings also, Life of Huanshuang. So we cannot deviate the period of Harsasiladitya. So definitely we cannot deviate the period of Pulikeshi II or this Aihole inscription. And further, in Tamil Nadu, there is a Pallava dynasty that ruled the northeastern part of Tamil Nadu and also southern part of Andhra Pradesh. The Pallava king Mahendravarma and the famous Pallava king Narasimhavarma, who defeated Pulikeshi II and captured Vadapi, the capital of Pulikeshi, Batami. So he known often mentioned as Vadapi Kunda Narasimha. That is Batami, who captured Batami. As per Kuram Copper Plate of Parameshwaravarma, another later Pallava king. So based on this, we can definitely understand that the period of Pulikeshi II is around 600 to 650 Common Era. Definitely then Aihole inscription date at 634 is within the regnal period of Pulikeshi II, and it also, through this also it proves Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. And this is the place of Aihole. This is our Bharat. This is the place, northern Karnataka. And these are all the places I am going to narrate the inscriptions at Gramam. It is near Viluppuram. Sri Mushnam near Chidambaram. And Trivadai Marudur near Kumbakonam. And this Tiruparankundram and Anaimalai near Madurai. And Uyakondan Tirumalai near Trichy. These are all the places I am going to narrate. And this is Nidanpur in Assam. And Dupi copper plate and also the Nalanda clay plate of Bhaskar Varma. These things I am going to narrate just to show where places were located, all these inscriptions. I am showing this map. And then coming to Anaimalai inscription, this is from Tamil Nadu. You see, in Tamil Nadu, it is in Sanskrit poem. And the letters are Tamil Grantha letter. It is Sanskrit poem in Tamil Nadu. Date is Kaliyuga 3871. And the king name is Jadila Parantaka Pandya, whose regnal period is 765 to 815 Common Era. His father Maravarman Rajasimha Pandya, he defeated Western Ganga king Sri Purusha and also Batami Chalukya king Kirtivarma, who is fifth king from Pulikesi II. And this Kirtivarman was in turn defeated by Rashtrakuta king Dandi Durga. That was the end of Chalukya of Batami rule and the beginning of the Rashtrakuta rule. And he was friend to Pallava king Nandivarma. So through Pallava, Rashtrakuta, and Chalukya, and also Western Ganga dynasty regnal period, we can prove that Jadila Parantaka India rule period definitely we can go through 5 dynasties. And it is in Sanskrit verse. This is the inscription. I have taken photocopy from Madurai. It is in Sanskrit poem and in Tamil Grantha letters, Pandya Grantha letters. This is the translation of that. It is known that the prime minister of that Pandya king, who is Parantaka, Marankari, has actually constructed this Narasimha temple in Anaimalai. I thank ISA for using this translation. And also his brother, he constructed some parts of that temple. His brother Marankari, after he went to heaven, his brother Maran became the prime minister of Maran Chadayan, that is Parantaka Chadayan, Pandya. So he constructed the other parts of the temple. It is also there in that Anaimalai temple inscription, just on the left and right entrance of the Mula Garbhagriha. I thank ISA for using this translation. And another thing is Tirupparangunram inscription. Tirupparangunram is south of Madurai. The Madurai is a famous city, the Pandya kingdom capital. It is some nearly 450 to 500 kilometers southwest of Chennai. There is a Subramanya temple. In that temple, there are 2 inscriptions, important inscriptions. That was inscribed by the highest official who worked under Parantaka, Jadila Parantaka Pandya. His name is Satan Ganapati. He inscribed at the cave temple and also at the Durga Shrine. In that, he mentioned that the date of that inscription is 3864. That is 3 Sahasra Vasu Sataihi. Vasu means 800, and Shashtya means 60, and Veda Sankhya, 4 Vedas, so 3864. That is another inscription that also prove that King Jadila Parantaka Pandya rule is around 770 Common Era. That is 1300 years before. So as per this genealogy, the Vamsa, who are all the rulers after one after another, described in Kendur plates of Kirtivarma, the 11th regnal year of Kirtivarma, and Udayandram copper plates of Nandivarma, and Saman God copper plate inscription of Dandi Durga, and Mayurkandi copper plate inscription of Govinda. 3 all are Rashtrakuta kings. And Telagan copper plate of Krishna Raja, one of Rashtrakuta. And the most important thing is Velvikudi copper plates of Jadila Parantaka Pandya, who date is Kaliyuga 3871 as per Anaimalai inscription. This Kirtivarman II of Chalukya Batami, he is 5th king after Pulikesi. Dandi Durga of Rashtrakuta, Nandivarma II of Pallava, Maravarma Rajasimha Pandya, father of King Jadila Parantaka Pandya, and also Sri Purusha of Western Ganga king were contemporary. That we can come to understand through this genealogy described all these in 7 inscriptions. That much was the inscriptions are important. So this is the flow chart. Pulikesi II, Aihole inscription, date Kali 3735. And after that Vikramaditya, Vinayaditya, Vijayaditya, Vikramaditya II, and Kirtivarma II, who was defeated by Varavarman Rajasimhan, father of Jadila Parantaka Pandya, at the war at Venbai. This is, he inscribed in Anaimalai, that is date is 3871. So there are 6 kings. The difference is 136 years. So 6 years kings ruled for 136 years. That means each king average period is 23 years. That is highly acceptable. There is no controversy in it. So this proves that Aihole inscription date is correct and also this Animal inscription also correct. So both are corroborative to each other. That we can understand from this flow chart and also these details. And coming to another Gramam inscription, which I have found out first. It is on the north wall of the central shrine of Sevalokanatha temple, Gramam, near Thiruvannainallur and Viluppuram in Tamil Nadu. That is 160 kilometers southwest of Chennai. It is also in Sanskrit, in Granthan, and also Tamil. Both portions are there. It is also issued by the Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, Madurai Konda Koparakesari Varman. Date is Kali Yuga 4044. The most important thing is to mention how many days elapsed from the first day of Kali Yuga beginning. That is 14,77,037 days. That is the most important thing. So we cannot know not only when the Kali Yuga began, in which year, even on what day Kali Yuga began. That also we can definitely understand through inscriptions. You see, Kali date is 14,77,037. If you divide by the average number of days per year, it is 4,043.8. That is 4,044th year. So exactly matching. So in even 1,150 years before itself in our nation, our ancestors know definitely time calculation and Bharatian calendar system is excellent. No defect, no wrong thing in it. See how much it is accurate. You can see. And also from this, we can definitely conclude on what day the Kali Yuga beginning. And we know the regnal period, ruling period of Madurai Konda Koparakesari. That is Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. That is 907 to 943 Common Era. So this is between this year. So it shows that Kali Yuga began in 3101 BC. This is the inscription. This is Sanskrit portion written in Tamil Grantha, and this is Tamil portion. Ancient Tamil letters. You can see this is Ka, Tamil Ka, ancient days, 1150 years before. This is Li, this is U, this is again Ka, Va, Kali Yuga Varsha. So definitely there. You can, if you go and see, you can read yourself also, if you know little bit practice. And coming to Sri Mushnam inscription, it is near Chidambaram. A famous Varaga temple is there, and Ishwara temple, Shiva temple is there. Nityeswara temple. It inscribed in Tamil, Kali Yuga 4060. It is during the period of Sundara Chola Chakravarti and his son Crown Prince Aditya Karikala. And we know the regnal period of Sundara Chola. So based on that, we can prove that Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. This is the inscription. I have personally gone there and taken photograph. You see, this is Om, this is Ka, Tamil Ka, Li. You can see U, clearly U, Ka, Varsham, Nalayiraptu, Arubadavadu, Tu, you can see the. So this is, I have used this photograph in the front cover page of my book. Excellent thing. And then coming to Uyakondan Tirumala inscription in Tiruchirappalli, it mentions two era. So what is the advantage of mentioning the king's name and another era is you can cross verify whether the Kali Yuga year mentioned is correct or not. We can cross check. So most of the inscriptions mention either another era or the king's name and dynasty name. Through that we can cross check. This is mentioned Kali Yuga 4080 and Saka 901. Based on that, we can show that Kali Yuga began in 979. And this is Tiruvadai Maruthu, a famous Shiva temple, Mahalinga Swami temple, near Kumbakonam, the famous Navagraha Sthala and other, around that Kumbakonam, all Navagraha Sthala are there. So it is an important holy place in Tamil Nadu, at the bank of Kaveri. It is also issued by Uttama Chola Parakesari Varman, that is the grandson of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. Sundara Chola is another grandson of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. Parantaka Chola Chakravarti has three sons. Rajaditya was defeated and murdered in a war near Kanchipuram. And the second son is Kandaraditya. Kandaraditya Chola's son is Uttama Chola. Third son is Arinjaya Chola. Arinjaya Chola's son is Sundara Chola. So he is a grandson of Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, and we know the regnal period of Uttama Chola. Based on all that also we can derive that Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. So the most important thing is the Kendur plate of and 11th regnal year of grant of Kirtivarma II, Badami Chalukya, Udayandram copper plates of Nandivarma III of Pallava, and Trivalangada copper plate of Rajendra Chola. I have already explained him. What is his greatness? And Karkhat plates of Krishna III, Duli plates of Krishna III, and Shamangad copper plate of Dandi Durga, Mayurkandi copper plate of Govinda III, all of Rashtrakuda. From this genealogy, the Vamsa described and the subsequent rulers described in this copper plates, we can show that Parantaka Chola Chakravarti, one of Gramam inscription, and Krishna III of Rashtrakuda, that is, he is the 16th king after Pulikesi II and 5th king after Jadila Parantaka Pandya, were contemporary. And I have mentioned King Sundar Chola and Uttama Chola were grandsons of this Parantaka Chola Chakravarti. This is we have identified. What is its importance or essential thing? From what we can get inference from this? Because the date of Gramam inscription is Kali 4044, Aihole is Kali 3035. There are 16 kings for 309 years. So average period is 19 years. So it is also acceptable. So we have to cross verify whether all the inscriptions are correct. And Sri Mushnam inscription is Kali 4060, and Sundara Chola Chakravarti is 18 king, because Parantaka Chola Chakravarti is 16 king is his son and his grandson, so 18 kings. Average is 18 years per king, 325 years. And after that, this Tiruvadai Marudur inscription is 4083. So that is also for 19 kings, because he came to power after Sundara Chola Chakravarti. So it is also 18 years. So all these things correctly fit into the chronology of all these Pandya, Pallava, Chola, and also the Western Ganga, Rashtrakuda, and Chalukya. All 6 dynasties genealogy correctly fit into exact thing. So all these inscriptions and their date are correct. We can cross verify. This flowchart further helps this. See, this is Chalukya, Pulikesi II, Aihole inscription. After that, 5th king, Kirtivarma II. He was defeated in war at Venbai by Maravarman, whose son is Sadila Parantaka Pandya of Aanaimalai inscription. And he also defeated Nandivarma II, the Pallava king, and who was friend to Dandi Durga, who started this Rashtrakuda dynasty by defeating Kirtivarma of Chalukya. That is the end of Chalukya Badami rule and the beginning of Rashtrakuda rule in the central Bharat. And this is Chola king. Vijayalaya is the first later Chola, then Aditya. Aditya won in war in this Tiruppurambayam near Tanjavur. In that he defeated Nirupatunga or Aparajita, last ruler of Pallava dynasty. That was the end of Pallava dynasty. And this Parantaka, after that Aditya won, Parantaka, his son, came to power, and his son fought with Krishna III, and Krishna III and his aide murdered him in the Takkodam war near Kanchipuram. So both are contemporary. So 16 kings from Pulikesi, Aihole 3735 to Gramam 4044. That is how I calculated. So all these 5 dynasties clearly, exactly, precisely fit into the correct chronology, and they show the Kali Yuga begin in 3101 BCE. Thus, these 6 inscriptions, Aanaimalai, Tirupparangundram, Gramam, Sri Mushnam, Uyakondan Tirumalai, and Tiruvadai Marudur from Tamil Nadu, are interconnected and corroborative with each other. Not only with each other, but also interconnected with Aihole inscription through continuity in terms of time in chronology. Hence, they prove Aihole inscription date is correct and Kali Yuga began in 3101 BCE. This shows all these 6 inscriptions are interconnected among themselves and with Aihole inscription. And another most important inscription is Nidanpur copper plate inscription from Assam. Assam is Kamarupa or Pragjyotisha. It is a Nidanpur village in Silhat district Previously, it was in Kamarupa. Now it is in Bangladesh. And the king who issued this copper plate is King Bhaskar Varma, the king of Kamarupa. And in that he mentioned his Vamsa, the subsequent rulers. He mentioned that King Naraka, Naraka, who born after Narayana and Bhudevi. He was the ancestor of this King Bhaskar Varma. And from King Narakasura, who was killed by Satyabhama, that is the cause for the celebration of Deepavali. And his son is Bhagadatta. He fought with Vijaya. In that Nidanpur copper plate mentions that he fought with Vijaya, that is Arjuna in Mahabharata. After that, Pushpadatta and Vajradatta began to rule. So the fight between Arjuna and Bhagadatta not only mentioned in Nidanpur copper plate inscription, but also detailed in Mahabharata text of Veda Vyasa in the Drona Parva, the 27th Adhyaya. A full Adhyaya is devoted to the fight between Arjuna and Bhagadatta, the son of King Naraka. In that, Bhagadatta was killed and Pushpadatta became the ruler. And this Nidanpur copper plate inscription mentioned that after this Vajradatta and his son, there elapsed 3,000 years and many kings were ruled. After that, the king Pushyavarma started ruling, and in his Vamsa, the 16th king is King Bhaskara Varma. So, what we infer from this, from the year of Mahabharata war up to the ruling period of King Bhaskar Varma, there elapsed 3,000 years plus the ruling period of 16 kings. So 3,000 plus the ruling period of 16 kings is the time elapsed from Mahabharata year to the ruling period of King Bhaskar Varma. That we got from all this Nidanpur copper plate inscription. This is the Nidanpur copper plate inscription photocopy. I thank ASI. And also, not only Bhaskar Varma, he detailed his genealogy in that Nidanpur. In Dupi copper plate inscription also he mentioned. Dupi is in Assam. I thank ASI for using this photography. And also in Nalanda clay plate. In Nalanda, the famous university in Bihar, near Gaya, south Bihar. In that day, we found a clay plate of Bhaskar Varma. In that also he mentioned his genealogy. It mentioned here, Sri Bhaskar Varmeti. So all these things prove that the genealogy of Bhaskar Varma. And how we can derive exactly, fix the date of Bhaskar Varma, because not in Nidanpur or Dupi copper plate or in Nalanda, his date is not mentioned. So we know that from Mahabharata to Bhaskar Varma, 3,000 years plus the ruling period of 16 kings. But these three inscriptions didn't mention the year of ruling of Bhaskar Varma. Then how can we find out? If we find out, we can fix the year of Mahabharata war. And also Kali Yuga. So in that way, it is important. This Harsha Charita is a Sanskrit historical text written by Bana Bhatta. Bana Bhatta is the chief minister of Harsha Siladitya, who was defeated by Pulikeshitu. Already I was shown. And that in the 7th chapter, he mentioned that messenger from Bhaskara Varma of Kamarupa, Pragyodisa Iswarayana Kumarena Prahito Hamsavega Nama. Prahito is messenger, Nama means his name. Kumarena, other name for Bhaskara Varma is Kumara, as mentioned in Yuvan Swang. So, he met, this messenger of Bhaskara Varma met this Harsha Siladitya of Pushyabudhi dynasty in his capital, Thaneswara. In that, this messenger detailed the chronology, the genealogy of this Bhaskar Varma. That is Varaha, Bhagavatya, Bhuva, Naraka, Bhagadatta, Pushpadatta, Vajradatta, Bhuti Varma. Like that, he mentioned Bhaskar Varma. He mentioned Bhaskar Varma again. So, definitely, this Bhaskar Varma is the same king who issued Nalanda and also Dupi copper plates and this Nidanpur copper plate. You can read this Bana Bhatta's Harsha Charita. You can buy or internetly download these books. You can verify these facts. So this shows definitely that Harsasiladitya was defeated by Pulikesi II of Aihole inscription, was contemporary to Bhaskar Varma of Nidanpur copper plate inscription. So this Aihole and Nidanpur are interconnected. This is further evidenced by the book Life of Huan Xuang by Saman Hui Lee, rendered English by Samuel Bale. In that he is mentioned Harsasiladitya and Kumara Raja, that is Bhaskar Varma of Eastern India. He mentioned Eastern India are contemporary. Siyuki is a Buddhist records of the Western world, written by the disciple of Yuan Xuang, as guided by Yuan Xuang. In that also it mentioned this king of Kamarupa was Bhaskar Varma with the title as Kumara, clearly mentioned, and was contemporary to Harsasiladitya. So Harsasiladitya and Bhaskara Varma were contemporary. That was definitely understood from writings of Huan Xuang, the Chinese traveler, and also the history text written by Bana Bhatta, the chief minister of Harsasiladitya. So from this we can understand that is, this is Aihole inscription in Deccan, almost central Bharat. This is through inscriptions, through chronologically, interconnected with the 6 inscriptions of Tamil Nadu. It is down south. And this inscription mentioned that the Pulikeshi defeated Harsasiladitya of Sthaneswara, was the ruler of northern Bharat. And he was contemporary to a king of Kamarupa, that is far eastern part of our nation. That is Nidanpur, Dupi, Silhat, and Batara copper plate inscription in Nalanda. So we can see that the Tamil Nadu, which is down south of our nation, is interconnected through a region that is far east part of our nation, more than 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers distanced, both distance from this, through Aihole of Pulikesi II of central Bharat, through Sthaneswara of northern Bharat. So through this we can infer that not a single region of our nation is separate. Everything is interconnected, interlinked, and interwoven, and nothing, no region is separate. That we can understand through these inscriptions and their detailing of chronology. So from this we can say, often in science there is a field called quantum physics, which often mentioned, there's a famous quotation, there is an inseparable quantum interconnectedness of all particles in our universe. This is science, quantum physics, the ultra-modern physics. There is an inseparable interconnectedness, that is interconnectedness of all particles, that is inseparable, that ever present. It cannot be separated. At what level? At the quantum level, that is at more micro level, nano level, quantum particle, subatomic particle level. In the subatomic particle world, there is an inseparable interconnectivity between all particles of universe. This is a famous quotation by David Bohm, famous theoretical physicist, and well known for his reputation in quantum theory and other thing. He mentioned in his article in this, inseparable quantum interconnectedness of the whole universe is the fundamental reality. That is his quotation about quantum physics. In the history also, as proved by these 10 inscriptions, there is an inseparable chronological, there is quantum interconnectedness here, chronological, that is year sequence interconnectivity that exists between all the historical events of our holy nation. That we can understand. Like this is also is a fact and the fundamental reality. Thus, history is arts, but nonetheless science. Why? Because history gradually becomes more and more scientific due to the advancement in science and technology in historical research. So history is arts, but also science. This can be proved. Various dynasties of our beloved nation had either martial conflict, that is war with each other, and or marital relationship, that they will marry. The prince and princess will marry between the dynasties, or sometimes both exist between the same two dynasties. We can show. I have already shown this Velvikudi copper plate inscriptions and Anamalai Tiruparangotra inscriptions. The king Rajasimha Pandya defeated the western king Sri Purusha in the war at Vembai. Western king is a Mysore kingdom. He is from Madurai. He defeated that Mysore kingdom king in a war at Vembai. So there is a martial conflict in there. But subsequently, what happened? King Rajasimha Pandya's son, Jadila Parandaka Pandya, married the daughter of Sri Purusha, who was in war with his father. So his father himself arranged that marriage. So not only martial conflict, at the same time there is marital relationship, and both exist between the same two dynasties in our nation. So these dynasties and our regions are not at all separate. They are interrelated, interconnected, and interwoven. Nothing is separate. So we can infer in the any historical event in our nation cannot be fixed separately, because further David Bohm wrote, it is undivided whole. And also there is perpetual dynamic flux, that is martial conflict and marital relationship is there. Perpetual dynamic flux is there, continuous thing is there, but it is undivided whole. So that is, so we can understand that any historical event of Bharat cannot be fixed separately. Either it has to be fixed in block as a whole only. So no historical event can either be pushed backward or even forward separately. This totally applies to the date of Mahabharata also. So date of Mahabharata should be coherent, harmonious with chronology and also era and also archaeological findings and inscriptional events which show the chronology of various dynasties. So we cannot fix date of Mahabharata or any historical event of our nation. Either we have to push en bloc as a whole, either forward or backward, not a separate historical event cannot be treated separately. That is the inference we got through all these 10 inscriptions. And in the next section, I will detail further inscriptions, why they are important. I wholeheartedly express my Nandri, Dhanyavadaka, and thanks to Sangam Talks and its team, and also the eminent personalities and my colleagues who are listening my lecture patiently and thereby encouraging me. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad. Nandri. Thank you. Any questions, I am ready to answer.
Well, I'll have to look through all the data which you present, because I mean, this is a serious topic. But as far as I could hear, all the inscriptional evidence you mentioned, well, it's just that, it's inscriptions. And inscriptions in India are fairly recent, are mostly of the Christian era. And I think on the basis of the Yuga Chakra of State Markandeya, that the Maha Yuga cycle, or the 4 yugas, is essentially a giving meaning to the precession cycle, 25,772 years, rounded off to 24,000 years. That is to say 12 times 2000. Now this precession cycle was only discovered in 137 BC by Hipparchus of Alexandria, and then communicated through the Indo-Greeks to India. the concept of 4 yugas existed already thousands of years before. That's why it has also percolated into Germanic mythology, Greek mythology, and so that concept of 4 world ages is not new, like the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age. But what is new is the coupling of these 4 ages to a specific time frame, like 432 times 1,000. You see that numerical precision given to the yugas, that came only after the precession cycle had been discovered. And so it is very significant that all the inscriptions that you mention, at least as far as I've been able to hear, are from after the day that this precession cycle came to be known in India. So my interpretation is that this Varaha Mihira, or one of the early Indian astronomers, started attributing this Kali Yuga to past events. He translated their presumed date into a Kali Yuga date. And from then on, many people started reckoning in Kali Yuga, putting that in inscriptions and so on. But these inscriptions are not original. They do not date from the age of the Mahabharata, for example. They are simply projections by Christian age Indian astronomers and then by everybody else. So, as far as I'm concerned, what I haven't heard, and of course it's possible that it will appear, that I do not prejudge, but so far, and here I'm speaking for, I think, every other, let's say the ugly word, every Western scholar who will be hearing your speech, you know, what they will all say is, but this is not really evidence. This is evidence only that the people writing the inscriptions believed in this Kali Yuga age. It is not a proof of the Kali Yuga age itself. I mean, if you find an inscription saying, here Jesus was resurrected on such and such a day, then you know that the writer of the inscription believed that Jesus had been resurrected. But it's not proof that Jesus was resurrected. Okay? So here also, what you have in all these inscriptions is proof that those people believed in the Yuga system, but not that the Yuga system is factually true.
Sir, shall I express my views on this, sir?
Now your comment, please.
Okay, sir. For example, I am quoting Surya Siddhanta. Surya Siddhanta in the first Adhyaya, it mentioned that it was taught to Maya, a Asura, by the arms of sun god. When it was started, at the tag end of Krita Yuga. First Adhyaya, you can refer.
Yeah.
First Adhyaya of Surya Siddhanta, at the tag end of. That is, just a minimal few years are left at the end of Krita Yuga. I am requesting sun god to teach me astronomy, the excellent science. So Surya's sun god, he sent his Amsa to him, and that Amsa taught him the astronomy at the tag end of Krita Yuga. So the Surya Siddhanta itself shows that it is written or taught at the end of Krita Yuga. It is not the beginning of Kali Yuga. And that Surya Siddhanta mentioned the oscillation of equinox, not precision of equinox. In the third Adhyaya, from 9th to 12th sloka, it mentioned that it is oscillation of equinox, that is from 0 degree Mesha zodiac sign, it will go forward to 27 degree, again return back to 0 degree, again back to 3 degree Meena, that is 27 degree, again forward by 27 degree, so to reach 0 degree. So 108 degree in 7,200 years. That the velocity of that also mentioned, it is 54 seconds per year. So it clearly mentioned in that it is only an oscillation of equinox. That Surya Siddhanta was taught at the end of Krita Yoga. It didn't mention anything about Kali Yuga. So it is definitely a much anterior text to Greek. And also Varagi Migira, though the date is 505 Common Era, it is entirely wrong because he is contemporary to Kalidasa, who wrote Jyotir Vidaparanam in the year 3068 Kali, as per Jyotir Vidaparanam in the 22nd Adhyaya. He mentioned the Navaratna in Vikramaditya. In that, Varahi Migira is one of the Navaratna. And Varahi Migira in his Brigat Samkhita mentioned in the earlier period that 0-degree Ayanamsa is somewhat forward. Now it starts from the Karkadaka Rasi beginning. That is Dakshinayana, and Uttarayana from Makara zodiac sign end. Makara zodiac sign beginning. So this actually mentioned in Jyotir Vidaparanam in the first Adhyaya, that is in the 445th year of Saka Nirupayara, there is 0-degree Ayanamsa mentioned by Kadidasa. Because Kadidasa lived in 3068 Kali Yuga, that is before the beginning of Salivagana Saka. So this Saka must be different, that is Cyrus era. That means at the year 105 BCE, there is 0-degree Ayanamsa. And this Maharyabhata Siddhanta and many things mentioned this Ayanamsa changes. It is all written before the entry of Greek into India. That is the thing. Even date of Aryabhatta, I have written a book that the date is not 476 Common Era, it is 2674 BCE. That Shashti Abdanam, Shashti Yada, that Shashti word is changed. That is actual word is Shadbihi. As per Sanskrit grammar, I have written a complete book on that. So his period is 2764 BCE. He is much anterior to these Greek people. So this is my opinion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the compliment. Is there any other question I can answer?
You see, this was the main question. I mean, this is the question about the yugas. And so
Okay.
any foreign...
Okay, sir. In that, in Surya Siddhanta itself, it is mentioned that Purva Yuga concept, and also in Purana and Mahabharata and other texts, in Purana it mentioned that when the Kali Yuga started and when Krita Yuga will start. That means in Srimad Bhagavatam in 12th Kanda, it mentioned that Krita Yuga will begin after the end of Kali Yuga. That is when Sun, Moon, and Jupiter were in conjunction with Pushya Nakshatra. That is, they mentioned. And the Purana mentioned the number of years for Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. So these are all there in our ancient texts. It's very unfortunate if Kali Yuga lasts that long, that we, us, you and I, are not going to live to witness the start of Krita Yuga again. Definitely, we cannot. Our lifetime is very limited, sir. Okay, sir. Yes. What you told is correct, sir. Maybe yes, because I know some Hindus, it's not, you can't always blame these ugly Westerners. You see, some Hindus have a far more modest opinion about the magnitude of these yogas. You certainly know in your line of work the book by Sri Yukteswar, The Holy Science, where he revives what I think is the original yoga theory, as you find in Markandeya, namely that the yugas together form a cycle of 24,000 years only, and in fact only of 12,000 years. There are 2 yuga cycles in this one precession cycle, namely a descending yuga cycle with Kali Yuga at the end, going down, getting ever worse,
and then it starts going up again. And according to him, this has already happened. We are now in the upward swinging Kali Yuga, followed by a new Dwapara Yuga, and so on. So that's a bit of a heterodox interpretation, but it's very much an Indian one.
Because in Purana and all astronomical texts, it clearly mentioned it is not ascending or descending. From Krita Yuga, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yuga. After Kali Yuga, Purana, I have shown all the Purana, no? Matsya Purana, Vayu Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Brahma Purana, Vishnu Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. They clearly mention in the chapter that detail with the chronology of Magadha kingdom. You can verify that sloka is there. After Krita Yuga, Kali Yuga end, Krita Yuga only start, not the ascending Kali Yuga. They clearly mentioned. So I go with the text that describe that much clarity and authentic, and so it is, for me it is correct. And this descending cycle and ascending cycle, we didn't find any evidence in the ancient texts of our nation. So what it is also, it is only an assumption that descending cycle, ascending cycle, it at all not mentioned, not even a single text, either astronomical or literature evidence, nothing is there. Even in inscriptional evidence also, it mentions Krita, Treta, and Dwapara and Kali Yuga. I have shown on inscription now. Inscription, we cannot say that it is only a belief. So, because in Assam, from Kashmir, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, in many states, they would have believed some different. It cannot be imposed throughout the nation as a belief. So I have an inscription that is dated in Kali Yuga 2000. That means 1100 BCE. That inscription photograph is with me. Divi Sagasra Kalau Prapte. So 1110 BCE. That means before the entry of Greek. And it is not believed. We got to read the complete text of India literature and also complete epigraphical evidence. Then we can assess this. But as far as I have read many inscriptional texts and also many Purana. Not even a single text mentioned that ascending or descending cycle. It is only from Kali, Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga. That is the thing that are mentioned in all the texts. So I am accepting it as a truth.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, about all these Puranas and their evidence, I am quite illiterate myself. So for that, we defer to your authority. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Is there is any other question? I am ready to answer. Or any other suggestion? Because one person asked me one question. Is there any inscription before 500 Common Era? That actually made me to work further. I have found out many inscriptions, this Kali 2000 inscription. So that some way I can get guidance and also I can gain knowledge from the audience also. So I welcome that also. Any suggestions from?
First of all, I have read your book about Kali Yuga inscriptions. I have talked about that also, and that's very wonderful. You have studied it in a very exhaustive manner. That's very wonderful. But when it comes to fixing the starting point of Kali Yuga, actually what is happening is, see, understand one thing. एक चीज समझ के देखते हैं कि हमारे इंस्क्रिप्शंस में जो कली अहरगण लिखे हैं वो किस थियरी से कैलकुलेट किए गए हैं. Okay, let me make my point. The way, the mathematical procedure they adopted for calculating Hargana in inscriptions is the same as written in Surya Siddhant and the same what we are studying today. While we are judging them, जब हम उनको चेक करते हैं तो हम उसी प्रोसीजर से उनको बैक कैलकुलेट करते हैं. We back calculate them and we find them that they are accurate for the date inscribed in the inscription. My statement is, it only proves that the system of calculation of Ahargana is in continuation since that period up to date. But it doesn't prove that the Kali Yuga started from that day. See, in mathematics, we have an assumption. We assume something, we calculate something, we find a result, we cross-check it by some another means. Only then we can say that our procedure was correct. But if we check our result from the back calculation, from the same principle we use in calculating these things, then it is like a cyclic argument. We calculate Ahargan from Surya Siddhant, we back calculate from the same Surya Siddhant, and we find the result as true. This is cyclic argument. It proves only one thing, that the procedure of calculating Ahargana and this dating system is in continuation from that period, from up to date, but it doesn't prove that the Kali Yuga started from that date only. That's my point.
Okay, sir. One thing what you are told is that we know how to calculate Agargana. Okay. Based on that, we back calculated. So argument is we back calculated when Kali Yuga began. So based on that, we inscribed in the inscription that is the year of Kali Yuga. That is the thing. But you can see from various parts of our nation, if you analyze, I have analyzed 436 inscriptions. All these things mention the regnal period of various kings, and not only that, the era of other Salivagana, Saka, and other thing, it exactly coincides with the 3101 BC. It cannot be simply calculated, back calculated in every area. See, in calculations, there may be minor variation between area to area. So we cannot accept that point that even in Assam, even in Jammu Kashmir, in Rajasthan, in Gujarat, in various places that were separated by thousands of kilometers, they have adopted exactly the same calculation and it produced the same result. That we cannot accept, because people are calculating. There are almanacs in our nation since time immemorial, and even in Veda, this 27 nakshatra and 12 zodiac signs and the number of years for everything is given. For example, in Aryabhattiyam and Surya Siddhanta, how many revolutions this Mars or Jupiter will do in one Mahayuga, they were given. So we have calculated these positions of Graha from an epochal day on which we know the Madhya positions of Graha to a particular point. For that we are using Agargana. It doesn't mean that we back calculated and we produced it in the inscription. If it is so, people would have opposed it, because somebody would have used some other calculation, and he mentioned that Kali Yuga year is, it is not 4044, it is 3044 only. Why you are writing like that? So it is not that just a coincidence or just a back calculations. It is actually based on real counting of years from the Kali Yuga. You can see Janame-Jaya's inscription is there, and also there is an inscription of Karigal Perivalata in 1465 Kali Yuga. So many inscriptions are there. So we cannot accept that argument that even how you are doing Sankalpa Mantra. The previous year we would have said some other year, Kali 5120. The present year we are not saying repeating. We are calculating 5122. Like that, every year we are adding. It is by practice, by calculating. We are having a Bharatian calendar system, which is excellent. There is no leap year, there is no miscalculations. So that calendar system existed, and they adapted the calendar system throughout India, and they followed that. So they correctly mentioned what is the year on that particular day of inscription. So it is not, we cannot say just it is a coincidence or by back calculation. It is totally not acceptable.
Sir, by means of back calculation, I meant to say cyclic argument. See, it's not that for every time you are calculating. First, let me make one thing very clear. जो आपने ये कहा, what you have said,
I am asking, what is the proof for back calculation in with you?
Sir,
If there is any, you cannot assume things.
I'm not.
If there is any, there is any literature evidence or inscriptional evidence that shows that we have calculated, back calculated, and produced wrote the year. Like that, there must be some sentence in any literature, any inscription, or any evidence should be there for that assumption. No, it is only a cyclic argument. It is only an assumption.
The example which you just showed, 14 lakh Ahargana in 4,000 something like.
Yes, 4,044, 14 lakh 77,037 days. Okay.
Okay. So those people who wrote this inscription
Hmm.
calculated these 14 lakh days.
No, sir. There is almanac. You see, Mackenzie collection. He
Almanac
mentioned
is
in.
calculated.
Wait. I will say. Almanacs are there. Every year it is released. So in that, what is the present year of Kali Yuga? And in Tamil Nadu, there is Jataka for us. In that, the number of day in Kali, that is mentioned. Kali Suddha Din is mentioned. It is not back calculated. They are counting the days. So this first day of this month, Saitra Pratama is Kali Suddha Din is this. So after that, Sitra month 30 days, Vaikasi month 30 days. Like that, they added the days. So in Ashada month, 10th day, how many days from this Kali Suddha Din of the beginning day of the year, they added and they put it in. So it is not back calculation. It is not using Agargana calculation.
Sir,
So tell me, sir.
okay. Let it be. I'm not saying back calculation. I'm saying cyclic argument. The way they calculated those ahargans, we are using the same methods and trying to prove them as correct. What I'm saying that this proves that the method of calculation of ahargana during those periods and during our period is same. It is in continuation.
Okay.
This is my point. I'm saying
So
cyclic
that
argument.
say Agargana is there. That doesn't prove that the Kali Yuga date inscribed is wrong. See how many more than 600 inscriptions are dated in Kali Yuga. How can you say that it is assumed and back calculated and written like that? Even one inscription, two inscriptions, they would have mistakenly calculated, but not all.
They haven't missed because the grandeur of Surya Siddhant was such that it was followed in all over India.
Okay.
ऐसा नहीं है कि तमिलनाडु में सूर्य सिद्धांत का सिस्टम फॉलो हो रहा था और पंजाब में नहीं हो रहा था. सूर्य सिद्धांत में जो कैलेंडर सिस्टम है वो इतना ग्रैंड है, इतना वास्ट है. इट इज इन फॉलोएशन अंडर होल ऑफ इंडिया. पूरे भारत में फॉलो हो रहा है वो.
ओके.
तो इसलिए आप ये कहें कि हर जगह की कैलकुलेशन एक जैसी क्यों है? एक जैसी इसलिए क्योंकि ऑल ओवर इंडिया एक ही सिस्टम फॉलो हो रहा है. तो इसलिए सभी जगह इंस्क्रिप्शंस में आपको एक ही चीज मिल रही है.
So based on Surya Siddhanta only, they calculated what is the present year. Not only that, they know the what is the year, number of year in the previous year. They added one. See, if the previous year is 4043, they added 1 year, 4044 is the present year. You are calculating 2021. You are doing Agaragana calculation. After 2020, like that, it is coming 2021. So this year should be 2021. Like that, you are not saying. You are saying that because 2020 is ended in December 31st, the next year will be 2022. Like that only they calculated. Why you are adding Agargana here? We are not adding a Christian era or common era by doing Agargana or by calculating some astronomical software. Because when December 31st enters, our next year start, and we are adding one number to the number of year. Like that only they calculated. You have to show some evidence, no, for this assumption.
Siddhant has a concept of a leap year, Pluth year.
No, leap year. See, I got read fully Surya Siddhanta. There is no mention of leap year in Surya Siddhanta. If you want, you can show me which sloka it mentioned leap year. I will then accept. Because I got read Surya Siddhanta full. It doesn't meant anything called a leap year.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. You can please send me the sloka. I will verify. If it is correct, I will accept, sir. What you are saying is true. I will definitely accept your view.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, sir.
It was, as usual, great listening to you.
Okay, sir.
You had mentioned about connection with China and South India.
Okay, sir.
Now, I was reading a book where I find that there are many images of Lord Narasimha, Vishnu and Shiva in a place called Wu Wenlian in China. And there are scores of temples with Hindu gods. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have very little connection with China these days in the last quite a few years. Maybe someday you can go there and look at those pillars, because I'm told Sanskrit inscriptions are there. They are in Pali or Sanskrit, we do not know. Maybe you should make a visit there and try
Okay,
and
sir.
find out.
Okay, sir. With your blessings, I will go definitely, sir, and find out more truth.
Yes.
For example, the Tamil king, Chola king Anabaya Chola, that is Klothunga Chola, he visited China, and during his period, there are many Shiva temples were constructed at the seashore places of China. That is a true history. Anabaya Chola, that is Klothunga Chola, who ruled after Rajendra Chola, 2 or 3 after generations. Anabaya Chola.
Of course.
Thank you.
Cholas are very, I am familiar with Chola because I am a South Indian. But people in North India would have hardly any idea of the
Chola
great
kingdom.
Chola empires.
The great empire of southern Tamil Nadu.
Of India.
Yes, southern India. Southern India. Yes, southern Bharat. Okay.
Bharat, yes.
Thank you, sir. With your blessings, I will definitely go,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
At the outset, I congratulate Dr. Raja for taking very good evidence on inscriptions. Several inscriptions you have taken from Assam, Kashmir, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and also the Chinese connections. And you have very good, very nicely established the Kali Yuga starts on 3101 BCE. And for this, several evidences you proved. And we cannot say that at the one time different people will think differently. All the people thought similarly, and they wrote the inscriptions, and it is clearly proved that in Bharat or in India, the knowledge of the Kali Yuga and the Mahabharata, everything disseminated in different directions, and the common concept is there in regarding the Kali Yuga. I congratulate you, sir,
Thank you,
for
sir.
nicely bringing all these inscriptions from several parts of the country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
First, I would like to congratulate you that you are very well said all these things. And this is my second session to hearing you. Actually, I am not very comfort in English, so I would like to speak
No,
in
sir.
Hindi.
Okay,
Some
sir.
bits.
Please.
Actually, I am teaching Siddhanta Jyotisha in Ujjain Sanskrit University. So I understand your work and your gorgeous knowledge about the astronomy. Actually, some things is missing in the talk. That is thing like that. Ved जो है वो हमारे मूल में है. जो जिस पर बात चल रही है ना कि what is the exact starting point and what is the exact last point of the Yuga systems. So actually, Vedas are guiding about these. That कृतिकायाम दीक्षेरन कृतिका वै मुखम संवत्सरस्य लाइक दैट ये इस तरह की जो पंक्तियां हैं वेद की संहिताएं हैं वो संहिताएं हमको इसके बारे में आदेश करती हैं. फिर इसके बाद जो है भास्कराचार्य ने भी सिद्धांत शिरोमणि में इसके बारे में कुछ बातें स्पष्ट की हैं कि भाई दस्यैव वारे प्रथमं बभूव मधुसितादिर दिनमास वर्ष युगादि का नाम युगपत प्रवृत्ति ही. तो वो जो युगपत प्रवृत्ति का जो पॉइंट है, जो स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है, एक्चुअली वो उसको उन्होंने किसी ना किसी रूप में उसको साधन किया है उसका, और साधन करने के बाद उसको उन्होंने कहा है. फिर दूसरी चीज जो है वो हो रही है कि युग सिस्टम एकदम से खत्म होकर के नया युग शुरू हो रहा है, ऐसा भी पॉइंट नहीं है. वो आप उसके बारे में अच्छा जान रहे हैं कि वहां पर उन्होंने युग संधि की बात की है. मनु महाराज संधि की बात नहीं करते हैं. उन्होंने पूरे युग सिस्टम के जो मान दिए हैं वो दिव्य मान में 10,000 ईयर्स कहा है, लेकिन ज्योतिष शास्त्र में 12,000 ईयर्स को उन्होंने सभी जगह स्पष्ट किया है. इवन सारे के सारे पुराण में भी उसी बात को फॉलो किया गया है. तो इसको अगर हम ये वेरीफाई करना होता है कि एक्चुअली ये जो पॉइंट है उसको हम कहां से माने, प्रूफ प्रमाण, तो प्रमाण में हमको वेद की ऋचा को एक्सेप्ट करना ही होगा. तो ये जो विवाद है वो विवाद का शमन हो जाता है. That is my view about your, and I am very happy. Actually, I would like to invite you in my university to give a special talk
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I will definitely
Actually,
come.
the Vivek Garg is my student,
Okay,
or
okay,
some
okay,
Ayush
sir.
Shukla is also my student. So
Okay,
they are
sir.
connecting me with your speeches. So
Okay,
I am
sir.
thankful to him and all
Okay,
of
sir.
your team. Thank
Sir,
you, sir.
you can get my phone number from Sangam Talks, sir. They will definitely give.
Definitely,
You can
definitely,
ask
sir.
them. They will definitely help. And
Actually,
we
I
will
also
have a.
studied. Actually, I also studied in Tirupati. So
Oh, very good.
I done my Acharya MA in Tirupati. I am the
Okay.
gold medalist of the university in
Congratulations, sir.
2005 to
Congratulations,
7.
sir. Okay, sir.
Uh,
Sir, we will keep in touch, and you please guide me some area where I can understand
Definitely.
something in Jyotisha.
Definitely.
So I
I'm
will learn
inviting
from
you.
you also. Because he is a Sanskrit Pandit, he knows better in Veda. But Veda usually describes this time calculations and also geometric progression of numbers, and also actually, for example, Rigveda is the first thing. It mentioned the 360 degrees of a circle and told zodiac signs. There are a lot of astronomy and time calculations are there in Veda. We have to do a lot of work in that. Definitely there will be there. And all the 27 and 28 nakshatra were mentioned in this Taitriya Samhita of Krishna Yajurveda, and also in Atharva Veda and other things also it is mentioned, and also 12 zodiac signs were mentioned. So we have to study a lot and do a research in Veda, because Sar is an excellent expert in Sanskrit and he can guide me in that to understand better Veda. And there is usually we mention a Yuga Sandhi. There is Yuga Sandhi. Actually, between one Manvandra to another Manvandra, one Kalpa to another Kalpa. For example, in one Kalpa to another Kalpa, there is a Sandhi period of 17 lakhs 28,000, that is equal to one Krita Yuga. There will be some Sandhi period. That is this bad effect of one Yuga will comes down and the good effect will be start. But we want to calculate a time. So we are exactly, though there is a, we cannot say that is exact contrast is there. So there won't be any contrast, something will come down and go like that. But Purana tells on the day, it mentioned Ahan, on that very day, Sri Krishna left, the Kali Yuga began. So we are taking that day as a Kali Yuga beginning day. That doesn't mean that the Kali Yuga effect started on that day only. Because in this Salya Parva, when Balarama asked why Bhima attacked Duryodhana on the thigh, for that Sri Krishna explained, it is Kali Yuga, please understand, like that. So though Purana clearly mentioned that Kali Yuga began on the very day Sri Krishna left, but its effect already little bit started before that, and this Treta Yuga will be existing to some years even after beginning of the Kali Yuga. Definitely there will be Sandhi period is there. And this 12,000 is Deva year, that is Deva. 360 years of ours is 1 year of Deva, and our 1 month is 1 day of Pitru. Like that, there is even an Aryabhatiyam is there, and even we can prove it from, surprisingly, by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. General theory of relativity proves that the time will go slow at a massive object. So the Pitruloka is somewhat massive. That is, mass means not only mass, the density. For example, neutron star is very small, 5 to 10 kilometer radius only. But a teaspoon of soil of neutron star will weigh a mountain. That much density is there. So if there is density, the nuclear density is there, the time will go slow. So in that way, Devaloka, our 360 years is equal to them 1 year. In that way, we have to calculate. And thank you for complimenting me. I can learn Veda from you. That is a great thing for me. Please guide me as a teacher. Thank you, sir.
This is Shekhar, Professor Shekhar from Alagappa University, Karaikudi. And honestly, this is the first time that I am hearing Dr. Raja's lecture. I'm very keen as a scientist, biological scientist, and I'm especially interested in Dr. Raja's lecture that we have been talking for some time personally. that is correlating the ancient history and yoga with the modern science. So looking at all this, in view of the modern science is very attractive for me. And I will continue to listen and I will continue to learn. It's a kind of inspiration for me that being a medical doctor, and he has been pursuing this very intensively, and I will follow his lectures sincerely, and I will also join the Sangam series of lectures in future. That will be very interesting for me. I would like to add here that I am presently acting as a registrar of the university, from where Dr. Raja has been acting as a member of the syndicate, honorable member of the syndicate, nominated by His Excellency Governor of Tamil Nadu. That sir is actually contributing for the administrative activities of the university also. So on the whole, I would like to congratulate sir for his extensive knowledge in this interdisciplinary and his approach, in both the scientific, technological, and also historical and all this. So I will continue to follow because I'm not in a position really. But only one question I just wanted to add. What about the language, level of language that is used in the inscription? Sir mentioned frequently that he has been referring to the inscriptions of ASI, Archaeological Society of India, and that also probably would throw some light on the age, etc. And can you please, Dr. Raja, say, for example, you have been connecting the Tamil literature, and you are very emphatically telling that there is an interconnection between south, north, east, west of India. And what about the language that is used in the inscriptions, please?
Thank you, Professor. He is Dr. Sekhar. He is an excellent personality and doing excellent work as a registrar of our university. I have to thank him for his efficiency in making a university an excellent and also number one university in India. Then the language used is, some inscriptions are in Sanskrit, even in Tamil Nadu. And also these Tamil inscriptions can be found in Andhra Pradesh and also Karnataka, whereas Kannada and Telugu inscriptions are there in Tamil Nadu also. So on those days, language is an bar thing. And basing of the writing style and characters of an inscription, we cannot decide the date of that or the period of that inscription. For example, there is an inscription of Rajaraja Chola, the father of Rajendra Chola, at Kutralam near Tenkasi. In that, he mentioned that because the old temple got damaged, a new temple is reconstructed, and the inscriptions also got damaged. So the same thing is re-inscribed in a new stone. For that, he told the old inscription is in Vatteluthu, one type of letters of ancient Tamil, and he asked them, ordered them to use the present day Tamil letters. So that why he used it, because everybody can read the when Rajaraja Chola's period, what the Tamil letters are. If that inscription is inscribed in that letter, every people can read. That is the idea. So when the inscription is damaged, or when the copper plate inscription is damaged, they used to re-inscribe, and the characters and the letters and also the language will be as per of the period when they are renewed, re-inscribed. So on those days, people used to understand much Sanskrit better, and also many Sanskrit scholars are there, and also the people are very much have high capacity in understanding Tamil language. See, in the modern period, we are saying that nobody can understand Tolkapia or Akananuru or Paditrupattu or Kalitogai, any of the ancient Sangam literature. But in those days, these poets used to tell, and also even an ordinary person can repeat that sloka. So the language, understanding, and the knowledge is better in those days, so they can easily understand that inscriptions. And language was not a barrier, and anybody can understand the inscription easily. That is the thing.
Just I want to ask Dr. Raja that that in the North India, even in many parts of India, the Jyoti Vidya Bharnam is not recognized work of Kalidasa. It's maybe the more than the one or two Kalidasa, but right now, out of the 7 works of these of by the Kalidas ji, Jyoti Vidya Bhandam is not recognized as his work because somewhere he dated the wrong dates. So how you can inculcate this Jyoti Vidya Bhandam as a proof for the date of the Vikramaditya? Because according to the many historians, the Vikramaditya of the Parma dynasty was in the 78 BC. So, do you think, because in that book it is also mentioned that he attacked on the Italy on the Rokshma Desh, and he take the Julius Caesar in his kingdom, means
Whether
to
Jyotir
the
Vidyaparna mentioned Julius Caesar, nothing, no, it doesn't
no
mention.
it's a Shakeshwar. So the,
Shakeswara, see,
yeah,
he explained that who are all the starter kings of a era. So whoever destroy the Saka, they are called Sakari. Ari means enemy. Sakari. So he mentioned Yudhishthira. After that, Vikramaditya, Shalivagana, Vijayabhinandana, and another person, I have forgotten his name, Nagarjuna and Pali. These are all the 6 Sakari in Kali era. So that he mentioned in Rajadhyaksha. You can verify in that. And some usually what the argument is, because of the writing style of Jyotir Vidyaparanam is entirely different from Raghuvamsa or Kumara Shambhava or Shakuntala of Kalidasa. You can see that one person can write in particular style in a particular book. For example, Jagdish Chandra Bose, a great scientist of our nation in 1900s. He researched in physics, he researched in botany. In the same way, he wrote science fiction novels also. So the writing style cannot be same in a research article and in a novel. For example, Mahendra and Karsha Shiladitya, they are excellent in various topics. And also there are many scholars who wrote both Ayurveda text and also the astronomy text and astrology text. The writing style will be different. Why the people are suspecting Jyotir Vidyaparanam? It is a conspiracy that because he mentioned in that clear-cut date of Jyotir Vidyaparanam 3068 Kali. So, for example, Vikramaditya Samvat, when it begins, what the almanac says, it is 57 BCE. More than 10,000 inscriptions mention that Vikramaditya started his era in 57 BCE. See, we are accepting Vikrama Samvat at 57 BCE, Salivagana at 78 Common Era, but in the textbooks, we are reading that both Vikramaditya and Salivagana are mythical personalities, not real kings. So it is a conspiracy committed on the history of our nation, historical chronology of our nation. So in that conspiracy, they are pulling Jyotir Vidyaparanam into that because it mentions its date and also it mentions Varahimigra as his contemporary. Because these Western scholars and also the Orientalists mentioned Varahimigra date at 505 Common Era. See, Varahimigra mentioned Aryabhatta. Okay, Aryabhatta and his 2 systems of reckoning of day in his book. If the date of Varahimira is 505, and if the date of Aryabhatta is 499 Common Era, just 6 years is difference. Even Varahimira mentioned the writings of Aryabhatta's disciple. How it is possible? So within 6 years, it is not at all possible. So the date is entirely wrong. So actual Varahimira's date is 123 Common Era. He mentioned it is a second Nirupa Kala. Second Nirupa Kala is Cyrus era because Nirupa is king. See, for example, Vikramaditya is known as Sakari, who destroyed Saka people. And also he mentioned as Saka Kartru, Saka Krita. That means he created an era. So Saka has 2 meanings. One is power, Sakti. Another is from which year it can be counted. So we have to understand clearly, then only we can throw away this conspiracy and we can better understand our Indian chronology. That is my humble request.
I'm having just a small question once again that we have find the encryption in the Tamil Nadu in Sanskrit also. So through
Yes.
this we can debunk the theory of that the Sanskrit was not prevailing in Tamil Nadu. Many leftists used to say like that.
See,
So-
that and all politics only. That and all politics. Because in our Tamil inscription, there is an inscription Tamil in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh, 1833. See, understand. So on those days we didn't bother about this language. It's a language we adopted. See, Sanskrit, you can say Tamil as a mother tongue of some people, Kannada, Kerala. Sanskrit is mother tongue of whom? Nobody.
Of all India.
No, whole India. So we can understand. See, Aryabhatta is from Kerala. Adi Sankara from Tamil. Many of the Tamil scholars on those days, they wrote it in Sanskrit also. See, Parandava Chola Chakravarti, if he hated Sanskrit, why he inscribed in Sanskrit his inscription? So why Jadila Parandaka Pandey inscribed his inscription in Sanskrit? Velvikudi copper plate inscription issued by Jadila Parandaka Pandya. The half of the portion is in Sanskrit, half is in Tamil. So there is no hatred on Sanskrit in those days. It is their modern day invention by, it is G.U. Pope and Caldwell. So we cannot say that he played his role. So we cannot comment politically on him. But one thing is, this G.U. Pope and Caldwell only played that role. Because Britishers want to divide the India between Dravida, Arya, by caste, by region, by language. That is the thing happened after British. You can understand if you read the Minutes of Education by Thomas Babington Macaulay, February 2nd, 1835. It is internet downloadable. You can read, you can understand what is the conspiracy of Macaulay to make India as a permanent slave mentally to British. That you can understand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.